What's going on, dads? Welcome to the DadWise podcast, the DadWise Monthly. This is my first one. It's coming out a little later in August. Typically, they'll come out the 1st of August, but this is kind of the beta month, and so I'm releasing this free on the podcast, free on wherever, YouTube and all that, just so you can see what it is and get an idea of if this is something that you're interested in. Every month we'll be focusing on a different topic, and so for August I chose connecting through nature, connecting with our families through nature, because it's nice. I live in the Pacific Northwest, and we don't get a ton of sunshine, so when we do, we have to make the most of it. So this is kind of the format for our monthlies is just going to be one topic to focus on and think about, and then some different pieces of homework and activities and thoughts. And so it starts with a Chinese proverb: nature, time, and patience are the three great physicians. True statement. Thank you, Chinese proverb. I want to add in a little proverb because we're called DadWise, and so I want to get wisdom in each of these monthlies. So the focus for this month is going to be creating connections through nature, and the guide is designed to spark your imagination and give you some ideas for what you can do. Obviously, you're going to have to contextualize this for where you're at in the world. If you don't have any water to paddleboard on, or there's no hikes, there's no trails to go on, you'll have to figure something else out for your context. But I figure everywhere has a good hike or two that you can go on. I started out by looking up some sciencey stuff for us because everyone knows it's good to be outside, but it's nice to have someone from Harvard also tell you it's good to be outside. So they listed 6 benefits to being outside, and I'm sure there's more that you've experienced. But number 1, sunshine is good for your body. It's good for your immune system. It helps to regulate sleep. It even helps with bone development and helps with your mood. So getting outside in the sun is going to be great for your kids. They recommend kids be outside for at least an hour a day, but I would go for 8 hours if you can. Exercise, being outside helps to promote exercise. Kids can run, jump, climb, and play. It helps with executive function. So this is what helps us plan stuff out and troubleshoot and have forethought. And when you're in like a square, sanitized area all the time with no variation, your brain doesn't develop those skills. And so nature with trees and branches that break and dirt that moves different ways depending on how you interact with it, is going to help your child develop those executive functioning tasks, skills. Their skills is what they are. It'll help your kids learn how to take risks, climbing trees. And as a dad, our job and our natural bent usually is to push our kids further, to let them try stuff that mom usually doesn't want them to try. But the worst case scenario is you go to the ER and they help you out, put your arm back in a cast, and then they're less mobile for a little bit. But you don't want to do any like reckless stuff, but learning risk taking is always great. Socialization is another thing that Harvard says is a benefit of being outside. Kids interacting on the playground, developing hierarchies, dealing with bullying, establishing leadership, playing games together, inventing things. This is all done through unstructured play. And then we learn to love creation when we're outside, giving our children that experience. And so those are the reasons why you should be outside. If you weren't convinced already, there you go. Now you have no reason not to try to get your kids outside as much as you can. So your mission for this month is to get outside with your family. Very basic, very straightforward. It's something that we can accomplish. We're going to go through some family activities, some one-on-one activities, and then are there any others? I think that's it. Family and one-on-one. Oh, and some date night activities, so you can take your wife out on some of these. And all of them you can kind of interchange with each other. But here's some tips to making sure you accomplish this task of getting outdoors with your family. Number 1, have a day that you're planning to do it and protect that day. We try to do a Sabbath, so from Friday night to Saturday night, there's like no technology, except for getting maps to get to where we're going. I'm home, I'm focused, I'm engaged with my family, I'm cooking dinner, I'm cooking breakfast, I'm helping pack the lunch. And so I'm really present because I'm gone most of the other days of the week. And so that's my day to be really with my family and helping my wife out. And so that's the day I chose to try to get us out on an adventure on Saturday morning, go out somewhere and do that. Plan something you know everyone will enjoy. Lead them, tell them why you're doing it. So as the father, you need to say like, hey, this is a 4-mile hike, but we're doing it because we're going to connect as a family. We're going to accomplish something hard, and we're going to be outside. We're going to grow in those ways that I just talked about. But more than that, we're going to connect as a family. And overcoming adversity always does that. For my family, at least, my daughter and son kind of get at each other a little bit, but when there's something hard that they have to accomplish, they do super great. So lead them in that vision. Tell them we speak kindly to each other. We're going to encourage each other. We're going to push through this hard thing together, even though it should be fun also. Teach them, take them to a place where you can teach them something, maybe plant identification or something about the waterways that you're visiting. If you're going to a lake, Google a little history about the lake so you can be their teacher. Helps them see you as an authority and to connect with you. And it's a fun thing to have some fun facts on the trip. Prepare. You're going to want to start thinking about this. You don't have to scramble on the day of. So if you're going to do snacks, go buy some snacks. If you have snacks, that's great. If you're going to need a paddleboard, go grab a paddleboard. If you need helmets for bikes so everyone can ride a bike together, get some helmets. Just think about this before the day comes. That's why I love doing Friday, because I have some time during the week. And then bring snacks is another tip that I added. You can add in some berry picking or some carving on the trail if you bring a knife, or a little plant identification PDF. We have some of those, or you can get those online. Those are also great to bring. So family day ideas, you can go hiking, have a picnic, go bike riding, go on a nature scavenger hunt. There's easy ones. If you just Google nature scavenger hunt, there'll be a ton, some with pictures for the kids that can't read, and some longer ones for the older kids. Beach days are always great. Fishing, campfire and s'mores, even at your own house. That's a great activity with the family. Playing outdoor sports, frisbee, catch, kickball, other outdoor activities. Geocaching. I haven't done geocaching in forever, but we used to do it when we were dating. Or go to a garden or a you pick berry farm. Those are kind of the ideas for your family. They don't have to be all day. They can be 1 hour. They can be 5 hours. They can be whatever. So here's some ideas for one-on-ones. If you can get a one-on-one with one kid a week, that's super great. So I'm about to have my 4th, so once a month I can get out one-on-one with some of my kids. My favorite way to do this is just to take the kids with me when I'm going out on like a house shoot or running some errands. It's not really nature, but it's outside, and we're together, and we can grab a little ice cream afterwards. Gardening. Gardening's always great. We trimmed up our peach tree the other day, and the kids helped with that. We picked all the peaches, we chopped them up together, we put them in bags because they got kind of mushy, and so we were going to freeze them and use them for smoothies and stuff. You can take your toddler down to the lake to throw rocks. That's an easy one. Coffee and a walk, that's my favorite one with my daughter. Any sort of outdoor recreation, go on a bike ride, fishing, bird watching, kayaking, whatever you like to do, go do it. And a walk and some ice cream. And then any of the other family activities you can do with just one child as well. And then date night ideas. I advocate for a weekly date night if you can with your wife. I try to do that with my wife. My mom is in town, and so she watches the kids. But if you don't have a parent or relative in town that can babysit, then try to pay for a babysitter. And if you need to do that monthly or trade babysitting with some friends, there's some creative ways to do it. But the idea for a date night is to connect and talk, so you don't need to like do anything crazy like skydiving or whatever, but you can if you want to. Here's some ideas. You can go to an outdoor concert, a game, or a show together. You can go to the farmer's market or flea market, buy some flowers for her and some fruit, and then go on a walk. Scenic drives are always fun, to a vineyard maybe. You can do arts and crafts outside, painting or basket weaving if you're into that. Do a barbecue cookout for your wife where you cook and do everything. And my favorite is just dinner and a walk. That's what we've been doing. It's so easy and it's a good time to chat. And this last week we actually did paddleboarding and dinner and talking. There was less talking, paddleboarding, because we kind of float away from each other and come back and stuff. But here's some trail games you can play with your kids. You can play I Spy. That's the easy one. I like to do that one in the car also. 20 questions. Someone thinks of an object, and then everyone gets a chance to ask a question. You get 20. If you don't get it in 20, you lose. Trail bingo. You can get bingo cards, and if you see a butterfly or a flower, the kid can cross off their bingo card. First one to get blackout or a straight wins. Story chain. You start by telling one piece of a story, and as you go, someone adds to the story. Rock, paper, scissors variations. You can do bear, squirrel, chipmunk, or bear, squirrel, bird, and decide who wins against who. Animal imitations. Take turn imitating animals. Leaf or tree identification. Simon Says Nature Edition. Simon Says hike without whining. Nature charades. You can act out animals or other nature elements to have them guess. Follow the leader. Leader does something funny or walks like a bear or something, and everyone else has to do it. Counting game. Choose something to count. Nature alphabet. So look for an apple. Look for an ant. Look for a baboon. You might have to be creative with that, but whatever is local to your area. We don't have baboons here, so that wouldn't work. And then when you're tired, you can lay down and look at the clouds. So those are some of the trail games. My story, we went out as a family a couple times. Last week we did a 4-mile hike. My daughter forgot her shoes, and it was supposed to be to a creek, but the creek was pretty dry because we've had a pretty dry summer here in the Northwest. But the kids still had fun. They played in the mud a little bit. We had snacks. We all got tired and a little punchy at the end. I had to carry my toddler all the way home, and my daughter did great with no shoes on. She doesn't really wear shoes ever, but I thought a hike is probably a good time to wear them. But she did great. I carried her a few times, and we had fun. And I told them this is going to be hard, and we're going to, it's going to be painful maybe, but we're going to get ice cream when we're done. So that was the big incentive. I told them about the ice cream on the way home, not on the way in. It was an in and out hike. So gave them that little extra boost they needed to push through. But we had a great time, and leading with vision and me helping with the carrying helped a lot. My toddler almost fell asleep on the way home. My wife and my daughter invented worlds. They talk about what's in their world, and her world is filled with candy and sparkles, obviously. We played some other trail games also to keep everyone's mind off of the length of the hike. It took like 4 hours. It was a long hike. So, and then the date night I already told you about with my wife. Paddleboarding was great. I had to go get the paddleboards from my parents' house and then strap them to the top of the car and then bring them out. So it was kind of a lot of hoopla, but it was worth it. And then the week before, we just did a walk around a little golf course up in Tacoma. So it was a little further away, and then dinner up at the golf course. I always like to do walks and dinners. It's easy. And then my wife's about to have a baby. She doesn't love to talk about that, so I've been asking her about it, but now I've learned that I should be asking her about other things, so she doesn't have to think about it so much. The anticipation's a lot to handle. So, and then one-on-one time, my son and I have been playing cards together. We went and played pickleball. He's gone to work with me, and my daughter is due for a coffee date coming up here pretty soon. So those are kind of things I've been doing in August for my nature connection. Leave some comments in our community about the different stuff you're doing to connect with your family. How's it going? Some extra tips maybe, other ideas. I'd love to hear your guys' ideas on this. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy this month of connecting through nature. You can do this any month, I guess. If you're not in August right now, you can still do it. So yeah, I think that's it for this month. And next month, we're going to be talking about rhythms, how to build in the structure in our lives that allows space for connection in our families. Some of the big ones are Sabbath, bedtime, dinner time, all those things. So we'll talk about all that stuff next week and give you some tips and tricks for that. So go out there and be awesome dads. You can do it.